And so does the government need to do more there? Because we know monetary policy is a really blunt instrument anyway. It's not necessarily targeting the areas of inflation that need to be targeted. So does the government need to do more there?
Oh, 100%. First of all, the government's got to support the Reserve Bank and let the Reserve Bank, and not try to bully them into anything. That's the first thing. And secondly, the government, you shouldn't be running an expansionary policy, when you're trying to get inflation under control. So, unfortunately, the government's got to, it has to work logically, and that's what they're not doing.
I want to shift the conversation to markets more broadly. Obviously, we're seeing rate cuts around the globe, in the United States in particular and over in Europe. How is this impacting the broader share market? Knowing that obviously that differential perhaps between Australia is widening a little bit because we're on hold for a little bit longer. What do you make of this in terms of how it impacts markets?
Well, the interesting thing is when you're in a cycle where interest rates are being cut, the market tends to not perform well because you've already had the expectations of those cuts being factored into the market. And most markets we've got, standing pretty close to record highs. The only time in a falling interest rate environment do you see markets perform strongly, and that's when earnings are accelerating. Now, at the moment, as we just talked about earlier, the economy is weakening, so earnings are declining. So we're probably, I would expect that it's going to be a challenging market, as in the equity market. The economy will continue to improve. In Australia it'll slow, but globally when interest rates are being cut, and we saw them in New Zealand already a little while ago, cutting rates, you'll start seeing some green shoots coming. But then in terms of, you really won't see a strong equity market until earnings are accelerating again, and that's still a time off.
So do you think opportunities will start to present when we start seeing rate cuts here at home?
Well, I think when we start seeing, I think there's going to be a lot of pain before that, unfortunately. In terms of the broader economy, and I think this next reporting season is going to be challenging for most Australian companies. So that's the 6 months to December. So once we've seen how difficult it's been, then I think there might be some good opportunities.
What about opportunities? I mean, I know that you're a shareholder or you've invested in Star. It's obviously had a rough day today. I think it's down about 50% at the moment. Do you look for opportunities like this, and what's your view on Star in particular?
Yeah, I mean, one of our funds has a reasonable position. Not big in terms of the size of the fund, but a position in Star, and obviously like today there is blood in the street, with Star, and everyone is backing the CEO to deliver, the new CEO, and that's our expectation. Would you be buying it today? If you're a real counter-cyclical investor, you would. I would like to see, I think, in terms of before we add to our position, we'd like to see a few other positive, things happen. So, I mean, if you cast your mind back a number of years ago, everyone thought, casinos, were great cash flow businesses, and the casinos, Star has had a very difficult time. So, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. The problem is, for the investors that have been with it so far, no one can see it at the moment.
Geoff, I've got to finish off by asking you, there's a lot of chatter in the funds management space at the moment. We know Platinum came out yesterday rejecting Regal's takeover offer. Your name has been thrown in the mix. Are you interested in a tilt at Platinum?
Thank you for the question, Ingrid. Ken Nelson has built an incredible business at Platinum, and Platinum, like Magellan, have had a very challenging last few years. When Regal announced their bid, from my perspective, I thought, well, that's interesting. We've actually made a number of takeovers for other listed investment companies. I think we've made 13 takeovers of listed investment companies. Now, this is the operating company we're talking about. I think it's an interesting play. Whether anything happens, I mean, time will tell. But I think it's a great brand, it's a great franchise, and it's interesting.
Well, we know it'll depend on price there, Geoff, so we'll be watching this space. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thanks, Ingrid.